If you've ever wondered what happens when a television host decides to stop smiling through the pressure and instead speak her truth, today's story is that moment. Egypt Sherrod, the HGTV star best known for her work alongside her husband Mike Jackson, has released a candid and emotional message that is part frustration, part accountability, and part manifesto. What sparked it was more than just a single article. It was years of effort, fatigue, and a breaking point that turned into a declaration. Egypt began by making her feelings unmistakably clear. She said she was tired of having to constantly prove herself. She was tired of defending her family. She was tired of being overworked and underpaid. For her, the public often sees the glory, but rarely the grind behind it. That was the tone she set right away, a rejection of the polished illusion that everything is effortless. The spark that set this off was a feature in a major outlet, designed to highlight the new season of her show. According to Egypt, the network invited the New York Times to their set. The reporter came, spent about an hour, took photos, and left. When the article was published, Egypt said the slant of the piece stung. Instead of showing her and Mike as the hands-on professionals they are, she felt it framed them as if they were casual visitors, people who simply drift in and out of properties for the sake of television. That's why, in response, she recorded her video from a client's home on a Sunday with no cameras present. She pointed out that even after all the travel and press, she was still there doing real work, scrubbing a wall before leaving. It was her way of showing that she is not a prop for television. She is, as she put it, the real deal. Egypt didn't stop with just clarifying the misunderstanding. She widened the lens. She explained that the issue wasn't just one article, it was a pattern of feeling overlooked, undervalued, and erased. She repeated her exhaustion, tired of proving herself, tired of being overworked, tired of being underpaid or sometimes not paid at all, tired of being sidelined for equal press or publicity, and tired of being used as a scapegoat. For her, it is not just about workload, it is also about identity. She made the point sharply. The Black woman is unprotected. In her view, the same media system that should be celebrating a positive Black family on television too often sidelines them when recognition is due, only to spotlight them when criticism or controversy is useful. That imbalance, she said, is impossible to ignore. She also described what she calls erasure. In the article, she said the photo chosen included only her, even though Mike had been standing beside her, giving the interview, and literally working on the wall behind her. For a couple who deliberately built their brand around partnership, that decision cut deeply. To show only her face, while cropping out her husband and co-leader, was not simply cosmetic. It distorted the truth of how they work together and undercut the story that their audience has come to know and trust. This sense of being cropped out ties back to the foundation of their show. Egypt and Mike's brand is about marriage, teamwork, and shared vision. To erase half of that equation is, in her words, more than a slight. It is an act of erasure. Egypt's caption alongside the video pressed the point further. She said the audience often sees the beauty, but not the behind-the-scenes story. She reminded people that she and Mike run a small family business, not a glossy TV factory. They have also built companies that provide opportunities for other realtors and designers, meaning their work creates ripple effects beyond the television set. When a major publication parachutes in for an hour and reduces that reality into a neat stereotype, she called it what she felt it was. Not journalism, but laziness. And the frustration doesn't stop there. Egypt explained that when media systems consistently overlook her and Mike for press, magazine covers, licensing deals, and event invitations, while still drawing on their image when it suits a particular angle, the message becomes clear. It says, "You are good enough to be visible when it is convenient, but not when credit is truly due." That is why this video wasn't just an emotional outburst. It was an act of accountability, a record. A way of saying, here is what happened, here is how it was framed, and here is why that framing is harmful. It was also a line in the sand. She refused to be the face for a narrative that cheapens her craft or her partnership. In her own words, "Let the fakes be your poster child, not me." She also acknowledged the ripple effect. Staying silent, she said, would be a disservice to every person watching, especially the younger TV hosts, designers, or realtors coming up behind her. By pushing back, she hoped to show what it looks like to defend one's work and one's truth, even when the easier option might be to quietly move on. So, what happened here? A promotional opportunity turned into a case study in media framing, how a single hour with a reporter can distort a 14-year career. Why did she respond so strongly? Because, in her words, this isn't happening in a vacuum. It is layered on years of delivering results, years of building credibility, and still finding herself fighting for equal treatment, equal protection, and accurate portrayal. It's personal, because her marriage, an integral part of her brand, was literally cropped out of the picture. It's professional because the labor behind her transformations was reduced to a simplified storyline. And it's structural because the media ecosystem, as she sees it, rewards shortcuts and stereotypes over craft and context, particularly when it comes to Black women. Even in her frustration, though, she circled back to her core priorities. She reminded viewers of the vow she and Mike made early in their journey. If anything ever threatens their marriage or family, the work ends. That's the guardrail they live by. The platform matters, but the partnership matters most. And while she pushed back hard against the misrepresentation, she closed by inviting community, not chaos. She encouraged her supporters to keep standing with them and pointed to organizations like 1,000 Women-Owned as one way to build the changes she wants to see in the industry. In the end, this video wasn't a meltdown. It was a manifesto, a reminder that behind every glossy reveal on television are hours of sweat, missed weekends, and choices to protect what is real. A reminder that representation without respect is just exposure. And a reminder that when the story about you stops being true, the most powerful response is to tell it yourself. Egypt's message echoes far beyond one article. It resonates with anyone who has felt unseen for their work, who has had their story told incorrectly, or who has had their labor minimized. She's saying, enough. Enough misrepresentation, enough erasure, and enough silence. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future uploads.